In this video I'm photographing fighting starlings. I show the setup that I use and how I obtain the shots.
So in this video what I'm primarily trying to do is photographing birds fighting. Primarily starlings, but hopefully with a bit of luck a woodpecker and a starling together would be really good. But this is a setup that I've used before. I made a video, one of the first YouTube videos I made was actually sort of showing how to photograph starlings in a garden. But the problem with my garden at home is it's only 40 foot wide. So actually getting the background far enough away from the actual post that I'm photographing on was a bit of a problem. So here at the hide there's no problems at all. The background is quite a long way away and it will throw the background completely out of focus. So with this setup, it's a post that I've had drilled out, and in the post what I'm doing is putting bird paste, which I make at home, and I'll put it in there. From the viewpoint of the hide, when I've got it set up, you won't see that. All you'll see is the post. But when a starling lands on here, or hopefully a woodpecker as well, what will happen is they'll start feeding, then another bird will fly in there. And that's when they'll scrap and fight. Now, it can look quite good with the post, where you have one sort of on the post and one flying in. But the best pictures are when they both leave the post completely and fly up in the air. And I've got some fairly nice pictures over the last few days. I've been having a few friends from the camera club come to use this location. Because the hide will take two people quite happily now, that's not a problem. And hopefully they've got some really nice images. But what I'll do is I'll go into the hide. It's a bit dull and overcast today, so whether I'll get anything really worthwhile today with it being so dull, we'll have to wait and see.
So here I'm going to be showing a few short slow motion clips of starlings fighting and squabbling. The video clips are taken using the slow motion setting on the OM1 and shot at 240 frames per second. For this I'm using the OM1 in shutter priority, and I set the shutter speed to 500th of a second, which is double the frame rate. The only disadvantage of using slow motion setting on the OM1 is that you have to manually focus. I find using focus peaking to manually focus on the post helps to ensure that the birds are in focus. In this clip, a bird flies in from the left and uses its leg to push the other starling off the post. This sequence shows how the starlings fly in the air as they leave the post. Using the OM1, these types of images are fairly easy to capture, providing you have fast enough shutter speed when using ProCapSH2. I wanted to get a photograph of a starling and woodpecker interacting on the post. Unfortunately, these two obliged me. I also managed to get some fighting between my two resident woodpeckers. You can see that this time I was using a different post. It's important to try and change your posts regularly so that your shots do not look all the same. Unfortunately, the woodpeckers fought on the right hand side of the post rather than above it. When shooting a burst of frames using ProCapSH2, it's best to pick out the best image and delete the rest. It's then just a case of cropping into the image to get the final picture. In this shot, the woodpecker was on another post and then a jay landed and interacted with it. Because the jay was the bigger bird, the woodpecker admitted defeat and flew off. I was also using my rustic mobile fence. One of the advantages of using this is that I can put more food into the channel at the back of the post. This means I do not have to get out of the hide so often to replenish the bird paste. So I've had lots of birds coming in today, and one of the problems that I've had is the sheer number of birds coming down. It's very difficult sometimes to isolate one or two birds. Certainly as far as the starlings go, I can have as many as 12 or more on the post at the same time.
Another problem that I now have these days is, as far as photography goes, is whether I should shoot stills or videos, because sometimes you see some action and you think, wow, that would have looked great in video. You've been shooting stills, and vice versa. You see something, oh, I wish I'd got that in stills. And but it's been a fairly productive day. The light's not been great, but I should have some decent pictures out of it anyway.
Because the images for this video were shot in May, I was getting lots of juvenile starlings coming down onto the fence. This gave me plenty of opportunities to photograph adult starlings feeding the juveniles, which were constantly calling out to be fed. Of the two great spotted woodpeckers that frequently visit the site, one is particularly aggressive and would often fight with the starlings if it felt the starlings were stealing its food. This happened on numerous occasions, and it was fun watching the woodpecker chasing and adopting a threatening pose if any of the starlings came near. So I'm going to finish up with a few more shots of fighting starlings and other birds taken at the hide using the same or similar setup. In the next video, I'll be again using my mobile fence, but this time I'll be photographing jackdaws and rooks. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please click the like button and subscribe to be notified of future uploads. Thanks for watching.